Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today in the group, just so you know, if you go to daixrp.com, the Patreon, or you can go through YouTube, click join below any of these YouTube videos, or you can hit subscribe on X. I do a full video plus the extended video with no commercials. Today, I'm going to talk about one of those things that I won't talk about out here. It involves crypto and Bitcoin and the whole thing. I'm not talking about it out here, but I will talk about it in there, give you my thoughts. Today we have a $3 XRP. The market's up at 4.2 trillion. If this thing dips down into that 275 range again, I'm ready to go all in. Doesn't matter to me. Now, something I've noticed I wanted to mention to you, we've watched it for a decade where the media, the crypto media and all the crypto pundits, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You've seen it. We're now seeing it again with RLUSD. I said here for a decade we've heard nothing but Bitcoin and Ethereum while XRP had a media blackout and was only mentioned in a negative context. We're now watching the same thing with stablecoins. I can see around corners, folks, and it's easy to spot. We're watching it right now. They never talk about RLUSD. The darlings are Tether and USDC. Tether because it props up the Bitcoin price, and USDC because it was originally created on the Ethereum network, and it is the darling because everything associated with Bitcoin and Ethereum, those are the darlings. Okay, that's just the way it works. You're not allowed to talk about RLUSD unless it's in the context of the big bad Ripple. I think that's worthy of pointing out because nobody else in crypto is pointing it out. Oh, speaking of people that don't like RLUSD and Ripple, Caitlin Long was on with the Wolf of All Streets. Here, they're talking about how the trillions that's estimated to come into stable coins is being underestimated. I agree with them here.
And it's when Citi upgraded its estimate to 3 trillion from 2.4. I think the high end of their estimate is 4 trillion of stablecoin activity by stablecoins outstanding. So that takes the 289 to 4 trillion
market cap
by 2030, right? And by that point, then the transaction volume, because they're high velocity, will exceed ACH. What this is going to mean is those numbers are still too low. I think they're way too low, Scott.
I was just going to say, it sounds so conservative
exactly.
to me.
And they probably think they're outrageously.
I don't understand who's going to use banks if they have stable coins and these actually become adopted and the banks are actually using the stable coins themselves.
Well, using the
listen, you can already see this battle. Yeah, I mean, you can already see this battle between our already existing public stable coins and who's choosing to partner with Coinbase on something stablecoin related, or who's choosing to partner with USDC, but also who's starting their own layer one. What banks are announcing their own stablecoins, and then all of that is nothing compared to what you're doing.
Well, because if someone can figure out, protected by intellectual property protections, how to deliver this technology into the core of the banking system. We're not talking about a bolt-on. We're not talking about sort of a side idea. This goes straight into
Instead
the core.
Of today's
right. If you get those primitives inside the banks themselves, then the banks can then go build on those primitives. And by the way, when Paul Atkins says that we're now going to start tokenizing securities, I think the ACH system within 5 years is essentially just going to die on the vine because people will just be walking away from it. And a lot of folks won't even know that what's happening behind the scenes is touching a blockchain. I think if the engineers
That's the only way it works, actually.
Yep. I agree with all of that. Look at this Ripple Bank charter decision due this October. Stuart Alderati and Timothy Keeney, who is previously of BNY Mellon and behind standard custody, are the ones that signed off on it. Boy, that would blow up the crypto market, wouldn't it? Now, here, Charlie Lee is saying that he really didn't make a lot of money with Litecoin.
My advice for myself would just to be, I think this would be surprising to a lot of people, but would just to be buy Bitcoin, store it away, don't sell anything, and don't do anything else related to crypto, and just sit on it and be anonymous. That would be my advice.
So
A lot of people have successfully done that, but I said, I'm not buying it, Charlie, no pun intended. This is when he has an estimated net worth exceeding $300 million. It includes the approximate value of the Litecoin he sold in 2017 when it was near the all-time high. However, his true net worth could be significantly higher or lower, as Lee never disclosed the exact amount of Litecoin he sold. I would say, before you start talking to me about how you didn't make any money on Litecoin, let's see some transparency about how much you got. Now, I believe crypto was created in part for the purpose of AI that was coming, okay? Listen to this clip from Raoul Pal.
What is an agent? An agent is AI, which is compute plus energy.
Right.
They need to be paid because they cost money. It's small amounts of money, but we're going to ask them to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And agents will ask other agents to do things, or agents to robots. So Damien's agent needs his house cleaned today. So it contacts the robot gets in the robo-taxi, comes to your house, does the cleaning, so spends some time using energy and compute, and leaves.
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do? Give it your credit card? Leave it cash and a tip? No. It just happens instantaneously via crypto rails. So agents will pay agents. So this is the future of money.
And this isn't like, one day maybe. This isn't Star Trek.
Oh no, this is already starting to happen.
Yeah.
It's already starting to happen. And within 5 years, it'll be commonplace.
Yeah.
So again, if you think about it, you need to permission your agent or your robot to do something which will employ others to do the task, of which they need to be paid micropayments.
Yes.
I believe Coil was a test drive on micropayments.
You're not going to, what, you're going to
Like a prototype.
send you an invoice? That's how the world works now. It's just done, right? So what you do is you permission your agent to do certain things on your behalf, and it takes that proof and goes out and does it.
So up here is from a, I believe, 2017 article where Brad Garlinghouse used as an example being stuck in a traffic jam and being able to pay 5 cents to a car to pass everyone in front of me. They knew a long time ago what this was going to do. UK is scheduled to remove its ban on Bitcoin. That's one out of the 100 Bitcoin bans that is being removed. Bunch of market manipulation, in my opinion. Here's Tim Draper, more Bitcoin talk.
On later today, and I've been
Their volume, not mine.
Bitcoin for over a decade. I remember when you and Adam bought the Dread Pirate Roberts stake from the federal government. How can we be using Bitcoin in all these disintermediating ways and to disrupt banking, for example, if we're not prepared to spend it? And Michael Saylor says, don't you dare spend that Bitcoin. I don't think a lot of people would want to do that today.
No, but there will be a moment when all the retailers start saying, I accept Bitcoin. And then there will be a moment where all the retailers say, I only accept Bitcoin. And I think that'll be the moment where people start to spend Bitcoin.
All right.
Now, one of my great fascinations with Tim Draper, who I think is one of the nice guy Bitcoin maxis, but do you ever ask yourself the question, why am I the only person in the world who has ever, that I'm aware of, who has ever asked Tim Draper if he owns XRP? What was his answer. Think about how many interviews you've seen Tim Draper in with a Bitcoin tie on, and nobody ever has asked him about XRP, but I did.
Currency, yes. I'm an owner of Ripple, or XRP. I'm an owner of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Tezos. I'm an owner of the Aragon. I'm a believer. I think it's happening. It's coming. It's so important for the world, and I want the world to know it, and I want other people in the world to get on board.
I'm fascinated by the things that are not talked about in crypto, because I'm old enough to know that the things that are not talked about are often the most interesting. And that's why one of the reasons I've been fixated on XRP and what Ripple's doing all these years. Check this out from Crypto Wizard. Explosive XRP breakout. The longer it consolidates, the bigger the expansion. For over 300 days, XRP has been trading just below its previous all-time high, holding its incredible gain only a matter of time until 365 breaks. 450 is inevitable. Okay, we're going to go into the group, and you're going to find this interesting, because I've been telling you for a long time, they've been intentionally distracting us away from XRP. That's one of the big reasons we've been so focused on it and all the connections and everything else. I think we've been right all along, and I'm going to expound on that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family. Away we go.